So you're really excited, you just downloaded Fortnite and you're ready to play it for the first time. There's just one thing in the way though. You look down YouTube and you can't find any videos to help you find the quickest way to improve at the game. Think of this video like a checklist for what you need to get better at Fortnite, whether you're on keyboard and mouse or controller. The beginning of this video is what I would do to improve at the game, and then the second portion of this video is going to be me telling you what I did wrong to improve. That way you don't end up wasting time just like me. Just to be clear now, I've been playing this game for around 3 years and I've been making YouTube videos on how to get better for over like a year and a half. So if that doesn't give you enough proof that I know what I'm talking about, I really don't know what will. So what I have here for this video is I decided to make a literal checklist of what you need in this exact order. This is how you have to follow it. So I'm going to read off this order, but I need you to know this now so you know exactly what to expect. And I mention all this stuff in the video, so we're going to cover each one. When you launch the game, the first thing you want to do is get your keybinds down. That's the first checkbox. Once you know you have optimal keybinds, the next thing you need to do is focus on your sensitivity. That's the next part. For controller, there's building sense, there's an edit mode sense, and then there's just all around your aiming sense when you have a shotgun or an AR or something. For keyboard and mouse, there's only DPI, which is the mouse software that you usually have to download, and then the in-game sensitivity, and then that's it. It's only two things you need to worry about. Controller's more complicated. The next thing you need to do is focus on building in creative first. Then after that, you're gonna focus on editing, and then after that, you're gonna go into Raiders maps because it's literally all you need. And you go to Raider 464. I'm gonna leave codes everywhere, trust me, later on in the video. And then after that, you're gonna play Arena to figure out what you're bad at, and that way you can get a feel for how much you need to practice even more after you studied all this. The final step is to go into more map training, usually in Raiders maps, most likely, but you're gonna use how you died in Arena to practice that exact thing in the creative maps. Now, oh my god, was that a lot? But I promise you, it's really simple. I'm going to explain it. The first thing you got to do when you launch the game is go to the item shop, go to support creator code, and make sure you're using code KenBeans. I've had to teach myself 2 times to get better at the game. First time was on keyboard, the second time was on controller. The second you launch, you shouldn't be worried about playing anything on the top over here. For the first 4 to 5 days, your only focus should be in creative. So I'm gonna click play on creative, and then the second this loads, I'm gonna go to create, I'm gonna hit launch, and then this is gonna load me into a creative game. When you spawn in, you need to find your island. It's usually just a portal that looks something like this. It'll have your name on it, you walk right in. This is my map, I put all this stuff down, but it'll usually be an empty block, which is completely fine. First thing you wanna do is open up your inventory, go to weapons, scroll down, and get out a pump shotgun. Now I'm gonna run you through a little course of some basic drills that I do whenever I switch inputs, or the first time I launch the game. I should have done this. So as I'm gonna teach you this first one, I got my stare out, I'll go to build, and oh wait a minute, my binds are all screwed up. Good thing for you, I got you covered. I have a keybinds video for mouse and keyboard, as well as I have my settings back in the day that I used to play on controller with, that I'm gonna leave a link to both of those down below. Probably around 4 to 5 days from when this video is uploaded, I'm gonna have a controller binds video in the description as well. I wanna make a newer one for people because the ones that are out right now are kind of outdated. You need to make sure you have optimal keybinds from the start so you never change them after you do them initially. I'm seriously not trying to promote my extra videos. I'm just actually leaving it here because I'm genuinely trying to help you guys. You don't have to watch the keybinds video or a sense tutorial like mine if you don't want to. I'm leaving it there for your benefit. I have a sensitivity video for both mouse and keyboard and on controller as well. That is also going to be down below in the description. Whether you watch that or not, this is going to be the process you want to follow. The first thing you're going to do is get used to building before you get used to editing. I'm going to absolutely rush through all these building techniques so you know exactly what to practice. The first thing you're going to want to do is start out really simple by placing a stair and then a wall. So just constantly rep this out till you can get them back to back. Quick heads up before we continue, make sure you have these settings on. Turn on sprint by default, turn on auto open doors. Make sure you turn on hold to swap. A lot of people don't know what this is, but if you hold your pickup button, it swaps it for the current one in the current spot in your inventory. I do use confirm edit on release. Don't feel like you have to use it, but it does make this whole process so much easier, and even to this day, there are a lot of pros that use it. Make sure you have disable pre-edit option turned on. All this other stuff is pretty much whatever. So after you learn this stair wall, the next thing you want to do is go add on to that and do a stair wall floor, and you just constantly rep that out just like this. So after you learn that, then you're going to want to do stair, floor, wall, and then protect yourself on one side. So it just looks like this. You could also do it from both sides as well, or you could just do it from the left. Try and practice all 3 of those. We haven't touched 90ing up yet, but here's the next one. What you're going to want to do is place 2 stairs and then walls in between them, just like this. And just learn how to ramp rush just like this. If you're getting frustrated, turn off sprint by default. That way you can walk through the entire process and do it really slow, just like me. After you do that, then you're going to want to do it slightly different by doing stairs, floors, and then finishing up with the walls. This is a really protective stair push, just like this in fast motion. Every time you do any sort of build, make sure that your crosshair movement is really tight. Notice how I'm staying right in between these two lines of where the stairs meet. Now we're going to move on to editing. This is exactly what you want to practice. Start out by placing a stair and then a floor. And just always edit through one tile just like this. The next thing you want to do is learn how to do it with a cone on top as well. So you're going to place both the floor and the cone, double edit through. I have an entire tutorial about how to double edit. It's really recent. I'm going to leave that link down below as well. Do not worry about triple edits when you're starting out. That's completely unnecessary. Once you get the double edit down, you're going to want to practice 90ing. To do 90s, it starts out very simple. I have an entire tutorial linked down below as well. Feel free to watch it if you want. Really quickly, start out with a stair and then just place walls, look down, place floor stair. Then you walk up. Please, when you practice 90s, don't be one of those players who hits the sidewall as they're doing it. That slows your momentum down and screws the whole thing up. After you get used to doing two 90s back to back, just like me, then we're going to move on to the next thing. One of the best editing drills that I always practice whenever I switched inputs or was working on keyboard and mouse, what I would do is have a wall here and just edit up from the bottom. So I'd practice resetting and editing that wall just like this. So I'd constantly go in a circle and just do this little edit and then just reset and always do that edit. Make sure you start from the bottom so that by the time you confirm your head level for a headshot. Once you get all that stuff down, it might take a couple days before you can get that stuff down pretty consistent. Next thing you're going to want to do is learn how to do simple high ground retakes. I'm going to showcase like a few really quickly. This first one is just to do walls around you just like this with a stair above your head. And then from there, all you want to do is edit out and then place it and do the same thing again, just like this. So boom, stair, high walls up, and then you're going to want to edit through wall stair and then finish with the wall stair again on top of you. That's one of the most simplistic high ground retakes that allows you to get a complete 360 angle on the guy as you're build fighting him, and it's going to allow you to do so much more things when you really master that. The next easy high ground retake is to just start out in this position. You can have a stair above your head, double ramping up. What you're going to want to do is place cones like this, very simple, and then stair, floor, stair. You're going to jump onto this and edit at the same time. That is essentially the easiest high ground retake that you want to learn when you're starting out. So once again, we're going to go boom, just like that, and edit through. You could do so many different variations from here. You can, swing this like this and then high wall up. Or when you're in this position, you can continue ramping and you can 90 up like this. All that stuff is too complicated at the start. You don't need to know that yet. Those are the high ground retakes you want to practice. One really quick one that's kind of old, but I use this a lot to warm up my mechanics at the start whenever I'm practicing for the first time. I come here, I double edit, and I go like this. So it's the same concept, but off a double edit. The only reason why this isn't practical anymore is because when you break this, the whole thing breaks. It's still useful to understand where things are placing though. This is a really quick edit that I forgot to mention that is really useful for getting used to stair edits. What you're going to want to do is learn how to place a stair floor wall and then edit through both just like this. What you could do is practice this from both sides as well. That way you'll be able to determine which angle is the best for you in this situation. If you only practice doing any sort of edit in one way, then you're going to be really one-dimensional in fights. We've covered a bunch of building and editing drills. The last thing we got to cover is quick tunneling for arena games. That's going to help you more than anything. Learning how to tunnel in real games is going to be one of the most hardest parts because there's going to be so much stress involved when the pressure's on you. Once again, I have an entire tunnel tutorial with 12 tunnel techniques that pros use, but I'm going to show you a few basic ones that are really important when you're starting out, and these are the ones you should be practicing early on. It starts out really simple. All you do is place a floor and then just place a wall, and then you continue this motion right here. Practice doing this on both sides just like me, and when you get into a real game, you're going to be able to block kids that are shooting on the left of you or the right of you. Now if you ever need to create a tunnel for yourself, just practice this really simple one. So all it is just walls, floor, and then you drag the floors over and continue the walls, and you just keep doing this over and over. If you place this in front of you, no big deal. I screw up a lot as well. Look, I just keep going through just like this, and eventually you time it just right where you're going to be able to get it just like me. This is one of the most common mistakes that when everyone starts on the game, they always screw this up. Every time I watch someone new, they never do it correctly. Learn how to box up correctly by placing a wall, and then if you want a cone in your box, right? What you're gonna do is place a floor, spin around, go with cones up and down. If you don't want a cone in your box, it's very simple. All you do is place a wall, floor, and then spin around with walls. Listen, when you don't build it the way I'm doing it, there's gonna be builds that go all over the place like this. It's gonna look like a mess. When you place the build above you first and then swing with the walls, it makes sure that no builds will go above this right here. That's why if I have a cone here, it happens the same way. You have to place the flat first and then spin with the walls. After you practice all those things and you feel like you're pretty consistent at it, maybe even a little below that line even, what you're gonna do is come over to one of these consoles or whatever these things are, are, you're gonna go to Raiders Peace Control Map Practice Map V2. I'm gonna be a good guy and make sure the code's on screen somewhere, but once this loads, you're gonna hop into this. Grab a combat shotgun and an AR. Go to the first one and you're gonna run through all these, but under one condition. You gotta make sure that every time you do any of these maps, just like this, that you're doing it completely behind cover the entire time. So as you can see here, as I'm doing these maps, I'm going crazy with my piece control and all this, but I'm making sure I'm doing right hand peeks and I'm being really optimal in what builds I place and how I edit. At any point in time, if you want to go back to the start, you just emote and now you're back and you can do this all over again. You can reset the whole map once you finish it and it turns red once you do finish one course. Here's the one thing I didn't mention. JivanTV made a YouTube video of exactly how to do these behind cover. You need to practice how to do these behind cover so that you build up the good habits at the start. Once you do all these and I literally still run through this even to this day. I still run through these courses because it helps me a lot. Let's say you've done everything under the sea, everything I just mentioned in this video so far, you've done all of that. The next thing you want to do is practice the 1v1 build fights. You just go in here, you enter the matchmaking and you can queue up against a random person. That hub right there that we were just looking at has so many useful things you can go into. I've used all those. Every time you spawn into this, make sure you pick a gold shotgun, a blue AR, and a grapple gun. Then you just want to practice your mechanics in here to the best of your ability. From then on, things get a lot easier. What you're going to do is every time you get on the game, you're going to practice in creative all the things I just mentioned until you're really good at them for like 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes if you don't have any time. Then you're going to play in arena and try and get to end game and use your game sense to try and pick smart fights. The more you die in arena, the better it's going to be for you and the more you'll learn over time. None of this stuff happens overnight. This is the best way to get better, the fastest way possible. This is how majority of people do it, and this is the stuff that no one makes a video on. Once you figure out what you're doing wrong in arena, maybe it's some edit that you're choking or some build that you're not placing, go into creative the following day and practice that for about 10 minutes. You do that over a long period of time, or even every other day if you wanted to, or once every week, whatever you want. You will get better with more practice you put in. I get the question asked of how to be cracked like me. I don't consider myself to be as cracked, but I am above the average player. That's exactly what I just did. Here's the things that I wish someone told me that took so much time away from me. The first one was playing too much pubs. So me, I'm a pretty competitive guy. I only play pubs when I'm playing with my friends that don't like arena. Other than that, every time I'm on the game, I like to play arena solos. Solo arena is the #1 best way to improve at this game. Mix it in with all the other stuff I just mentioned and you're gonna get cracked. Don't be afraid to switch your keybinds or try a different setting for more than a week. Once I switched to confirm edit on release, everything got so much faster. Once I started using double movement on keyboard and mouse with keys 2x, everything got so much better. I started hitting clips, playing more consistent, being more smooth, hitting bigger shots. Everything was clicking. Try out new Highground Retakes. Try editing courses. All this stuff will help you so much in the long run. Guys, don't forget that I'm doing a partner push over on Twitch where I'm trying to average over 75 viewers for a little bit over a couple weeks. That way I can get the verification badge and have way more crispier streams. Feel free to stop by if you have any questions about this video or you want to ask me something specific. I try to answer it and talk to chat as much as possible. More videos coming soon. Shout out to everyone on the screen right now using code KenBeans in the item shop. Thank you guys. If you want to be featured in the next video, send me proof on Instagram or Twitter. The merch is dropping soon. I have some samples behind me. I'm not showing you yet because they're just prototypes, but just be aware that we got some dope stuff. I love you guys so much. It's been your boy Ken, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Deuces. Peace.